Hello everyone, in this video I explain how to solve the quadratic equation by using completing square method. First of all, we need to understand what we mean by quadratic expression. Quadratic expression has power 2, like this, x squared plus 6x plus 9. This is called the quadratic expression. It is not equation because it is not equal anything. It is just expression. It is of second degree. This expression is called perfect square. The perfect square has three rules. First term has a square root. So last term or the third term has a square root. Look, square root of x squared is x, square root of 9 is 3. The middle term equals square root of first times square root of third times 2. Look at this. Square root of x squared is x, square root of 9 is 3, x times 3, 3x times 2, it is 6x. So this is called perfect square. How to write this? We can write this as bracket power 2. We take square root of first, square root of last, sign of the middle term. Square root of x squared is x, square root of 9 is 3, sign of the middle term is positive. Another example, x squared minus 10x plus 25. Is that expression perfect square? We check. First term, x squared has a square root. Last term, 25 has a square root. The middle term is 10. It's a square root of x squared, which is x, times 5 times 2. So this one also perfect square. So we can write this in this form. It is a square root of first, a square root of last, sign of the middle term squared. Now, another example, x squared plus 4x minus 4. Is that perfect square? We check. The first term has a square root, but the last term is negative, so has no square root. So this one is not perfect square. How can we change this to perfect square? We have one way. The way is that take half coefficient of x squared, add, subtract. Now, what is the coefficient of x in this expression? The coefficient of x is 4. So half multiplied by 4 equals 2. We take this 2 and square it. So 2 squared equals 4. Now this 4 we add it and subtract it to this expression. So we rewrite this expression as x squared plus 4x. After x direct we put the positive value. We put plus 4. And then minus 4. It means we add 0. So we don't change anything. Minus 4 the last term. Now, the first three terms now form perfect square. We write bracket power 2. A square root of first, a square root of last, sign of the middle term. What about negative 4 minus 4? We add them, negative 4 and negative 4, it's negative 8. Now we change this to perfect square. We take another example. Let us see this example. Complete the square of 2x squared minus 10x. Now, if we have a number beside x squared, we have to take it as a common factor. Because 2x squared has no square root. So it's better to take 2 as a common factor. So when we solve this example, we take 2 as a common factor. Now we divide each term by the common factor. 2x squared divided by 2, it's x squared minus 10 divided by 2, it's 5x. We need to complete the square. We need to complete the square of this bracket. The method is that half coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x is 5 without the negative. So we say half multiply by 5. Half times 5, it's 5 over 2. And then we square it. We square 5 over 2. So 5 over 2 squared equals 25 over 4. We take this number and add it and subtract inside the bracket. So it's 2, open a big bracket, x squared minus 5x. Now we add this number and subtract the same. It means we add 0. So this is plus 25 over 4 minus 25 over 4. Remember, plus comes first. Don't start with negative, because negative has no square root. Now, the first 3 terms form perfect square. The first 3 terms form perfect square. So, we open bracket, take a square root of first, a square root of last. The 25 over 4, its square root is 5 over 2. So, we write 5 over 2. Sign of the middle term. The middle term is negative. We put negative. And then we put the square. What about the other? Everything is the same. So this negative 25 over 4, we keep it. And this is the big bracket, the same. And 2 outside. Now, what is the last step? We distribute 2 over the bracket inside. So 2 multiply this and 2 multiply this number. So 2 multiply this bracket, it becomes 2x minus 5 over 2 squared minus 2 multiply 25 over 4, it becomes 25 over 2. We take another example. Let us see this example. Solve the equation. Now this is equation because it's equal. Solve the equation by completing the square. So, how to solve this? We use the way of completing the square. Half coefficient of x, a square, add and subtract. It's easy. So, what is the coefficient of x? The coefficient of x in the given is 8. So, we take half 8. So, half multiplied by 8 equal 4. Square 4. 4 squared equals 16. So, we add 16 and subtract 16. Then, x squared plus 8x. Remember, after x direct, just write plus. So we write plus 16. And then minus 16. It means we add 0. Plus 10. All of this equal to 0. Now, the first 3 terms form perfect square. So we write this as bracket to the power 2. Square root of the first, which is x. Square root of the last, which is 4. Sign of the middle term. What about the other 2 numbers? We add them up. Negative 16 plus 10, it's negative 6. So it's negative 6 equal to 0. Now we need to solve this equation. We move negative 6 to the other side. So x plus 4 squared equals 6. Now remember, note this please. If x squared equals 8, what is the solution of this equation? X squared equals 8, so x equals positive or negative square root of 8. So to solve this one, we have now x plus 4 squared equal to 6. So it's like x squared equals 8. So in this one, we write x plus 4 only without the square equal positive or negative square root of 6. Now what we do, we divide the paper into 2 halves. X plus 4 equal positive square root of 6. Because this is positive or negative, it means we have 2 solutions. Or x plus 4 equals negative square root of 6. We need to solve this equation. So we move 4 to the other side. Then x equals square root of 6 minus 4. This is the solution. Or the second one, negative square root of 6 minus 4. So this is solving a quadratic equation by using completing square method. I hope you understand this way. Thank you.